What's up, Lightning Squad, and welcome back to Naybor Games. I'm your host, Naybor. Today, we're going to do another tier list because I had a lot of good, positive vibes that came out of that last tier list. And today, I thought it'd be great to try out doing all shiny starter Pokemon and their evolutions. Again, this is going to be my tier list. This is what I feel like my opinions are on the starter Pokemon shinies. Your list may be completely different, or it may be exactly the same. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think, what your favorite shiny starter Pokemon is. You can also take, and in the description below, there is a link to all of my different social medias. If you want to join our Discord and leave your tier list in there as well, I'd love to see exactly what you picked as your favorite shinies. But there's quite a few Pokemon that we've got to get through today, and I'm going to go ahead and get right into this. We are going to go in order of generation, just like we did with the legendary tier list. So that means we're going to start with Bulbasaur. And I'm honestly going to put Bulbasaur in B. This one I am adding an F tier because I was asked to do that in the last video. Again, I don't hate any Pokemon, but I definitely dislike some, and some shinies. Just because I don't like the shiny doesn't mean I don't like the Pokemon. Just like I'm going to take and move Ivysaur and Venusaur up here into A tier. It's the yellow flower that really does it for me here. Charmander and Charmeleon, Charmeleon's gonna go to B. Charmander's gonna go to C, and Charmeleon is gonna go to B for me, just because it's such a departure from the regular. But Charmander's kind of the same in a way, just a little bit lighter. Someone took the saturation and lightened it up a little bit. But however, Charizard is a complete departure from its regular, and even though I don't hate how much love Charizard gets, but it's just overused in everything, I figured I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to move Charizard up to S tier because it is a fantastic shiny. It overall looks like a fantastic shiny. So S tier it goes to. All right, now we're going to move Squirtle here into A tier because I love the green shell, and I'm a big fan of Wartortle. Squirtle and Wartortle were my favorites from the starters of the Generation 1. And that being said, like, Blastoise is really good too. I hate the Mega Evolutions aren't on here because Blastoise would make it up to S tier as well. I think Wartortle is an S tier design. Blastoise, just because of the design, doesn't make it all the way up to S tier for me. Now, another Pokemon that almost makes it to S tier is Chikorita. I love the fall themes of Chikorita. The leaf turning from green to that orange color is really fantastic. And I'm also a big fan of the shiny Bayleaf. It's also giving off fall vibes, which I love the fall. Unfortunately, Meganium's a big miss for me. And so much a big miss, I'm going to put it in the C tier. It's not terrible, but it's not the best. My Gen 2 favorite shiny, my Gen 2 favorite starter Pokemon is Cyndaquil. And as much as I love Cyndaquil, all three, I don't want to go with all three. I'm going to go Typhlosion in B, but the other two are in C. They're not great. They're okay. All right, Totodile. Totodile was my second favorite, and I absolutely love its shiny, and as well as Croconaw. And I love the design enough to put Feraligatr into the S tier. So, from both gens, we at least have one Pokemon in S tier so far. I really love the design of Trico. Trico is going to go into A tier for me, as well as Grovyle. And even though Trico and Sceptile are my favorite Gen 3 starters, I'm going to put Sceptile in B. If Mega Sceptile was in here, it would definitely be in S tier, though. Chikorita. Torchic is going to go to C tier. I'm not a huge fan of it. It looks good. It's better than its original in my opinion, but still not great. And I feel that with Combusken, even though they have made Combusken a little bit darker on the bottom, it makes it a little more decipherable between the regular, but it's still not the best. And our first D tier is going to go to Blaziken. I am not a huge fan of Blaziken. Mega Blaziken's okay, but the shiny's not a big departure, and I'm gonna move it there. Mudkip. Mudkip is great. So is Marshtomp, but Marshtomp I'm gonna move to B just because there's just something about it I don't care about. Swampert is gonna be the only Gen 3 tier S Pokemon. I love it, and Mega Swampert would have been up there just like that as well. Moving on to Gen 4. Turtwig is my favorite starter Pokemon from Gen 4. And I'm going to move it into A tier because it's fantastic shiny. I love it. It's not as good as Grovyle. Grovyle's shiny is fantastic, and I really wish somehow it would have kept this color scheme when it went into Torterra, because Torterra is a fantastic Pokemon, but unfortunately it's going to make it to C tier for me. I'm just not a fan. All right, here we've got Chimchar. I don't know why I blinked on the name for a second. It's actually okay, and same for Monferno. But Infernape, unfortunately, is going to go to the C tier. We still don't have an F tier. I don't know if we should have kept the F tier. We'll see. Piplup. Piplup's okay. I'm going to put it in A tier. No, I'm going to put it in B tier. And Primplup's going to go to C tier. But Empoleon is going to go up to A tier. I love the teal blue on the blades of its fins. It's fantastic. That concludes Gen 4. Now we're moving into Gen 5. And Snivy's not like my favorite shiny starter, but it's definitely, I don't, do I put Snivy as my F tier? If I do that, No Leaks Louie, one of my good friends, is really gonna hate me for this. I'm sorry, Louie. I'm so sorry. If it makes it any better, I think Servine is C tier, and that I feel comfortable putting Serperior up into the A tier. The royal blue and the green go so well together. But yeah, that's where I gotta put it. I have to put it there. That's just where we are. Tepig, I'm gonna go ahead and throw Tepig, unfortunately, into F tier as well. I don't know why. It's not as good as its evolutions. Whenever you look at Pignite here, Pignite is a great departure. I love the color scheme on that. It looks so good. And for Gen 5, I do think that Emboar is going to be our S tier. I love the blue flames on Emboar. It is one of my favorite shiny starter Pokemon. I would highly put it up there. I'd always put it up there, to be honest. All right, on to... Nope, we're still in Gen 5. All right, so... I'm gonna put Oshawott in B. It's not terrible, but it's not the best. And Duat, unfortunately, falls into D for me. I'm not a fan of the color of its pants, I want to say. I feel like maybe if those were the same color as Oshawott's nose or something, I might be a bigger fan of it. But yeah, unfortunately, D tier for me here. But I am gonna put Samurott into A tier. That is a solid shiny. The dark blue with the color of the shell. I want to say it's almost a coral kind of shell, which kind of works. Almost S. You know what? It's S tier. I gotta put it there. It looks so good. I love that shiny. All right, now officially on to Gen 6. I like Chespin a lot, and Quilladin. Their shinies are great. Chestnut, unfortunately, misses the mark for me and goes into D tier. Maybe it's the design, but I'm not a fan. I almost would put all of Fennekin's line into the S tier, but Delphox and Fennekin, they make it to A tier for me, while Braixen makes it all the way up to S tier. It's a fantastic shiny. One of my favorites, and an emote on my Twitch channel, which, by the way, if you haven't, you can go down to the links below and click on the channel link for Twitch. Follow us there because we live stream Monday through Friday, 12 to 1 Central Time. All right, back to the stream. My favorite starter Pokemon is going to be an A tier for the first two evolutions. I'm sorry. It's not as good as Greninja. Greninja shiny is S tier. 100% would never change that either. That is fantastic. I love that Pokemon so much. All right, now we're on to the Alola region, and I'm going to go ahead and throw Rowlet up into the A tier as well as Dartrix. And I feel very, very confident that I'm going to put Decidueye up into S tier. I think it's a fantastic shiny. I don't have any issues with that whatsoever. Litten, in all honesty, is going to be our... Yeah, it's our first stage S tier. I love Litten. I love Litten very much. Litten is great. It's a great shiny. Torracat almost gets it. I'm not a big fan of Torracat. Not as much as I am of the heal Pokemon, Incineroar, which is going to go up to S tier as well. I think it's a fantastic shiny. Wouldn't change that ever. Poplio and Brion, unfortunately, are going to make it into the F tier. They just aren't, they're not there. There's something missing. It's a good shiny. I don't hate it. I don't hate the Pokemon. It's probably my least favorite starter Pokemon, but I don't hate the Pokemon because I really love Primarina's shiny. I would almost put it into S tier. It almost made it to S tier for me, for sure. All right, now we're moving into the Galar region. And as I've grown with the Galar region, I think Grookey's almost become my favorite starter from that region. The Wacky is a better shiny than Grookey. I like the dark mustard color. But they really missed out on making the Rillaboom's hair. I guess it's Broly's. Here, post Naybor, we're going to put a picture of shiny Rillaboom next to Broly. Huh. That actually looks pretty good. With that being said, now that I see that, we're going to put it up into A tier. Making changes on the fly. Score Bunny. This is the longest shiny hunt I have done to date. Almost, I take that back. We've done quite a few Pumpkaboo, but to date, the longest shiny hunt that we've done was for a hidden ability, Score Bunny. Its shiny's not even that great, and it's going to D tier. It's better than the original, but still D tier. Raboot, however, is going to go to S tier. It is a fantastic design. It is a solid shiny, and I love it very much, but not as much as I like Cinderace. I'm sorry, I don't like Cinderace as much as Raboot. I don't even know what I'm saying today. I would almost put all of Sobble's line up into S tier. Drizzyle's close to being an S tier for me, but Inteleon is full on S tier. I wouldn't change that to date ever. That's so good. I am not a fan of Hisuian Typhlosion shiny. I feel like I get what they were doing. They were trying to make them look like their original Pokemon colors, like their original form colors, but or these may be the original form colors, but whatever. I'm not a fan of that one or Decidueye, but I do love how much of a departure Hisuian Samurott is, and I will put that into S tier. We're finally on to the Paldea region, or should I say the pastel region. The Pokemon from this region have very pastel color forms for their shinies, and I love all of them, and they were all fantastic, fun shiny hunts. Again, twitch.tv/Naybor Games. Sprigatito. Sprigatito is going to go into the A tier, as well as Florigato, and Meowscarada is S tier. I love it. It gives off that Dark Magician vibe. Not that Dark Magician vibe, this Dark Magician vibe. Fuecoco is my favorite starter from Gen 9. It is the best starter from Gen 9. I will take no questions. And I will move it into A tier. Crocalor, I dislike the design, so I'm going to put it in D tier just for that. I'm sorry. It's still a great Pokemon. But Skeletor just shiny is so good. That magenta-y, like crimson color is so fire, and I love it very much. So it's going up to S tier. I have Qualls. I have very, very mixed emotions about this because Quaxley was my original starter Pokemon for the Paldea region. Shiny Quaxley caused me to make my first ever shiny fail in Pokemon, ever. I've never failed a shiny up until the point where I was hatching eggs for shiny Quaxley. And if I have the clip, I'm going to put it in right here. So, for that reason alone, I'm going to put it in D tier. It's not going to F tier. I'm sorry. It's still great. But Quaxwell, you can go straight to F tier. And Quaquaval, I think it's great. I love the pastels on it, but I'm going to put it into B tier. So, trainers, there we have it. There is my tier list for all the shiny starter Pokemon and their evolutions. Again, this is my opinion and what I think are the best shinies and the worst. I feel bad for some of those. I'm gonna get a lot of flack. Let me know in the comments down below what you would have put, which Pokemon and which tier list you would do. And if there's any other tier list you want me to do, leave that in the comments below as well. Make sure if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss when I post awesome content just like this. And I want to thank everybody who's watching, especially the person who really likes the Snivy shiny. I'm sorry I burst your bubble. But Servine and Superior are great. But thank you all so very much for watching. Be kind, be courteous, be awesome, and I will see you in the next video. Catch you on the flip side.